Hello students, last period I introduced the lesson life processes in living organisms part 1. We will continue with the same for today. Okay. Okay. Now, before I begin, I would just go back to some questions that you, what are foodstuffs, nutrients, you know all those things. I hope you can recall them back there. Nutrients we use, what are the different types of food items that we consume, what is a balanced diet, all those things I had explained to you all day. Okay, today now we will move on to carbohydrates. Okay, we move on to carbohydrates. Children, just here it's just you need to know things there. There is not much of explanation coming up or anything. You just need to understand what it is there. Alright, carbohydrates. Now, can anybody tell me what are the sources of carbohydrates? From which all food items that do we get carbohydrates there? Sources of food of carbohydrates. Can anybody tell me that? Okay, I will tell you the answer. It is milk. Okay, milk, fruit, jaggery. Milk, fruits, jaggery, milk, fruit, jaggery, cereals, vegetables, all those things, all your food items that you consume. Yes, cereals, vegetables, all provide you what? They provide you with carbohydrates which are necessary for the growth of your body, for the growth and development of your body, alright. And carbohydrates, children, carbohydrates provide 4 kilocalories of energy there per gram. Carbohydrates provide 4 kilocalories of energy per gram. Alright. I hope it is clear with you. Alright. Now, before I go ahead with the lesson, children, I would like to ask my students a question as to what is respiration. As to what is respiration. Now, you all have learned this. You all know what it means. In simple language, you will tell, ma'am, taking in air and giving out, taking in pure air, that is oxygen, and giving out impure air, that is carbon dioxide. All right? Yes, that is correct, of course. That is a correct answer. But remember that when you come to the higher class, that is a simple definition that we talk about. But when we come to the higher classes, respiration has something more deeper in it. Yes, something more further than just taking in and giving out. It is, respiration is nothing but the release of energy. What is respiration? Nothing but release of energy from the assimilated or digested food. Assimilated. Respiration is what? Nothing but release of energy from our body, yes, by the means of assimilated or digested food. Assimilated, I use the word assimilated or digested food. Okay, that is respiration. That is when you all are talking of the correct definition. Now then, if I ask you, what is breathing? What is breathing in fact then? Again it will be inhalation and exhalation together is called as breathing, correct? This also we have learned. Inhalation, the term inhalation and exhalation. The term inhalation and exhalation together is called as what? Is nothing but breathing, right? Is termed as breathing by you all. Clear? Okay, this is breathing. All right, that is also. Now, we take in, inhale or we inhale oxygen and we give out carbon dioxide. This also you know that. We take in pure air, that is oxygen, and we give out impure air, that is carbon dioxide. Okay, fine, I understand. Now, I am putting out another question for you. I am putting out another question for you as it, from where do we get air or how does it enter the body? Yes, from where does the air enter our body and how? From where? So, you will say, ma'am, we inhale air through our nose, that is our nostrils, and the air goes into the lungs. Simple process, inhalation. Same way, after it is there exhaled out, we give it out through our nose and our mouth also at times there, all right. So, but when we talk in terms of scientifically, how is it? Let us see how it goes. The air enters the lungs by the process of inhalation, right? Lungs. You all know that we have each human being has two lungs, the right lung and the left lung over there, okay. So, air enters the lungs by the process of inhalation. Air enters the lung by the process of inhalation, and the pure air, that is oxygen, the pure air, that is oxygen, enters the blood. Pure air, oxygen, okay. Air, oxygen is going into the where? Into the blood, the circulatory system. Blood is the the medium, all right, the blood. It enters the blood, while carbon dioxide from the blood also exits from the blood. Air enters into the blood, pure air enters into the blood, and at the same time impure air exits out. Impure air, that is carbon dioxide, exits out also from the body there, children, okay. This now what I am telling you, this is nothing but a gaseous exchange that is happening. What is it? It is a gaseous exchange that is happening through our alveolar membrane. Through our alveolar membrane. The alveolar membrane is nothing but balloon-like structures which are present in our lungs, okay. And this you term it as what? External respiration. This is termed as external respiration. But when I want to talk about internal respiration, let me tell you that the RBCs carry oxygen to every cell inside the mitochondrial tissue. Respiration or internal respiration takes place, okay. This oxygen is used for the production of energy. When we breathe in, blood absorbs all this oxygen, sends it to all the different regions of the body wherever it is needed, and produces what? Nothing but energy, okay. And when energy is produced, what is happening? The next step that you need to know is there is oxidation of food and nutrients taking place in the body. There is oxidation of food and nutrients taking place in the body to form what? Nothing but ATP. Nothing but ATP. What is ATP? Adenosine triphosphate. Okay, children, if you look into your textbooks on page number 13, if you all, when you all are studying, or if you all have it right in front of you all can open it. If you all look on page number 13, there is a diagram for the human respiratory system given to you. A diagram for human respiratory system given to you for over there, okay. I just want you to know, if you look into the diagram on, I am keeping it here, this is the larynx, the left lung, then you come again back to my left hand side, you have the nasal cavity, the oral cavity, the pharynx, the right lung, the diaphragm, and below you have a small figure given to you there. It is nothing but the alveoli, which are balloon-like structures. Alveoli, which are balloon-like structures over there, okay. Now, in the, my next question for you all is, how many atoms of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen are respectively present in the molecule of glucose? Yes, how many atoms of carbon, hydrogen and oxygen are present in the molecules of glucose? It is a general question there. Let me now tell you, glucose has a general formula as a molecular formula as C6H12O6. Glucose has a molecular formula C6H12O6. That is, how many atoms of carbon? 6 atoms of carbon. How many atoms of hydrogen? 12 atoms of hydrogen. And how many atoms of oxygen? 6 atoms of oxygen there. Remember this, children, all right. Then my next question to you is, which type of chemical bonds are present between all these compounds, okay, or between all these atoms? It is nothing but which type of bond. The question is, which type of chemical bonds? The answer is covalent bond exists. Now, you all have learned what is covalent bond and all. I am not going to detail into all that. Yes. And then in the last question on the same page, it is in terms of chemistry, what happens actually when a molecule is oxidized? What happens actually when a molecule is oxidized? You all know, you all have learned what is oxidation, what is reduction, all right. It gains oxygen and it loses another electron over there, okay. Now, we move on to the new topic, what are is living organisms and energy production. Living organisms and energy production. Now, living organisms, as I told you, I explained respiration for you all. Respiration in living organisms here. Now, little in detail we are going to move. Respiration in living organism takes place at two levels. I have introduced the topic to you, the respiration already there. Alright, it happens at two levels. Yes, one is at the body level respiration and the cellular level respiration. Again, respiration occurs in two stages, that is body level respiration and cellular level respiration, all right. In body level respiration, what is happening is exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide between the body and the surrounding. Body level respiration is nothing but exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide between the body and the surrounding, all right. And cellular level respiration is when the foodstuffs are oxidized inside the cells. Cellular level respiration is that where foodstuffs are oxidized inside the cell, that is breakdown of food for digestion, breakdown of food by the process of digestion for the forming or for giving us energy, all right. This is what you need to remember. Now, as I have told you that we cannot consume carbohydrates for the in directly form. It has to be broken down. It has to be simplified there, okay. So, what do? Is we consume carbohydrates from where? From where do we take in carbohydrates? From the food, and that is utilized for the production of energy required for our daily needs, all right. And it is stored in the form of what I told you? It is ATP, that is nothing but adenosine triphosphate there, adenosine triphosphate, okay. Oxidation of glucose is carried out step by step. Oxidation of glucose is carried out step by step in the cells, and that is why it is called as what? Nothing but cellular respiration, okay. And again, cellular respiration is also carried out by two methods, the aerobic respiration and the anaerobic respiration, okay. Cellular respiration again is of two types. What are they? Aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration, breaking down of food into simpler substances to produce energy, that is nothing but ATP, okay. Now, for doing work, what do we all need? We need energy, all right. Let me tell you how it is happening there. Aerobic, again I go to aerobic respiration. You have learned this, but I am just revising it fast. Aerobic respiration is nothing but respiration which takes place in the presence of oxygen. Aerobic respiration is nothing but that type of respiration which takes place in the presence of oxygen, and anaerobic respiration is nothing but those respiration that happens in the absence of oxygen. Remember all these things. It's just a thing which I need to talk to you there. So it is. But before I proceed further, I want to tell you all that food substances are broken down into simpler substances, as I told you. Carbohydrates are broken down into simple glucose molecule. Carbohydrates are broken down into simple glucose molecules. Fats are broken down into fatty acids and glycerol, and proteins are broken down into amino acids. Remember the children, carbohydrates are broken down into simple glucose molecules, fats are broken down into fatty acids and glycerol, and proteins are broken down into amino acids. And let me tell you, carbohydrates, fats, proteins, they all provide our body with energy. Carbohydrates, proteins, fats, they all provide our body with energy there, okay. Now, we move on to something important, that is cellular respiration In that, I am going to tell you about aerobic respiration. All right. Now, when I explain aerobic respiration, how it is happening there in the cellular respiration, aerobic respiration. All right. Aerobic respiration. Again, children, this is occurring in 3 steps. This is happening in 3 steps there. Okay. Again, this is happening in 3 steps. Which are those 3 steps? Let us see that. Which are those 3 steps? We are going to see that. First step is glycolysis. First step is glycolysis. Second step is nothing but the tricarboxylic acid cycle. Tricarboxylic acid cycle, which is also called as what? The Krebs cycle or the citric acid cycle, you can call it anything. Yes, and last step is nothing but the electrons transfer chain reaction. Electron transfer chain reaction. Clear? Electron transfer chain reaction. Now, in this we move on to the first step, that is glycolysis. We will move on to the first part, that is glycolysis. All right. Now, glyco means what? Let us see what it is. Glyco means sugar. Glyco means sugar and lysis means breakdown. Lysis means breakdown. So, what is happening in our cells? Breakdown of sugar, breakdown of glucose is happening in our body. All right, we are going to study that now. It's very simple, nothing difficult over there. Okay, before I will continue, glyco means sugar, lysis means breakdown, the first step. Now, glycolysis is a process which occurs in the cytoplasm of the cell. Where is this procedure happening? It is happening in the cytoplasm of the cell. Yes, and at the same time it happens in the mitochondria also in the next step there. All right. Okay. You all know that mitochondria is called as what? The powerhouse of the cell. Mitochondria is called as what? Nothing but the powerhouse of the cell. All right. Now, glycolysis is an anaerobic respiration and takes place in the cytoplasm of, now I am telling where all it takes place. It takes place in the cytoplasm of the animal cell, plant cell and also the cells of microorganisms. All right. Now, here what is happening is the glucose molecule. The glucose molecule is getting converted. It is breaking down or getting converted or simplified. Yes, into what? Into 2 molecules of pyruvic acid. All right, listen to me, it is getting simplified or broken down into 2 molecules of pyruvic acid or pyruvate, ATP, NADH2 and water. Okay, what is happening during the process of glycolysis? The glucose is being broken down into simpler substances where 2 molecules of pyruvic acid are formed or ATP is formed, NADH2 is formed and at the same time water is also formed. All right, children. And again, which is a site for glycolysis to happen? The site where glycolysis occurs is in the cytoplasm of the cell. Now, here pyruvic acid is converted further. It does not stop there. Again, the reaction keeps on happening. The pyruvic acid, yes, the pyruvic acid is converted into a molecule called that acetyl coenzyme. The pyruvic acid is converted into a molecule called as acetyl coenzyme and also what we see is 2 molecules of NADH2 and CO2 are formed, that is CO2 is released. ATP I told you earlier is nothing but adenosine triphosphate. ADP is nothing but adenosine diphosphate, alright. That is wherever two phosphate molecules, that is why it is diphosphate there. Alright, I will just show you the simplified reaction that is happening. Glucose molecule, yes, glucose which is existing as what? Nothing but a 6 carbon compound. Yes, I asked in the earlier part of the lesson, it is a 6 carbon compound, right, C6. Yes, it is splitting up into what? What are the products into what that it is getting split up, alright. It is splitting up into 2-pyruvate, into 2-pyruvate, into 2-pyruvate. Yes, 2-pyruvate is nothing but 3 carbon compounds. They are 3 carbon compounds. Into 3 carbon, it does not end over there, it has other things also, plus 2 ATP, plus I told you something else also, it forms 2 NADH2, NADH2, plus what is being released or what is being given out? Yes, what is being formed along with it? It is even water is being formed over there, alright. Glucose, when it is splitting down, what is it forming? 2-pyruvate plus 2 ATP molecules plus 2 NADH2, at the same time water that we get, alright. Glycolysis is also called as what, children? An EMP pathway there. It named after 3 major scientists, that is Emden, Meyerhoff and Paras, that is it is called as the EMP pathway also, okay. Now, if we have to convert this into ATP, yes, in the aerobic respiration, what happens, what do you get is C6H12O6, yes, C6H12O6 plus in the aerobic respiration, this happens, yes, plus oxygen that we will get 6O2, yes, 6O2 gives you 6 CO2 plus 6 H2O plus 6 H2O plus 38 ATP molecules, alright. This is happening inside the cells, a further breakdown that we call it, alright. Now, we move on to the next cycle, that is the tricarboxylic cycle. The tricarboxylic cycle or the Krebs cycle that we call is, yes, it was carried out by Emden, Meyerhoff and Jacob pathway, which is the next step to that or of the glycolysis. What is happening is the molecules of acetyl coenzyme A, the molecules of acetyl coenzyme A enters the mitochondria. The next region, that is, it enters the mitochondria, and here what is happening is the acetyl coenzyme A is completely oxidized through a cyclic chain of reactions and the molecules of carbon dioxide, water and NADH2 and FADH2 is formed. What is happening? The next step that is happening is acetyl coenzyme A, which is formed, is entering where? Is entering the mitochondria, and what is happening is the acetyl part of acetyl coenzyme A is completely oxidized through a cyclic chain of reactions, and the molecules are formed. Certain molecules are formed. They are the molecules of CO2, H2O, NADH2 and FADH2. Okay. Here what you need to know is 2-acetyl coenzyme A gives 2 molecules of ATP plus 2 molecules of FADH2 plus 6 molecules of NADH2 plus CO2 plus H2O. I will stop as of now. You need to know all these things there. 2-acetyl coenzyme A molecule is split up into 2 ATP, 2 FADH2 molecules plus 6 NADH2 plus CO2 plus H2O. Thank you, students. We deal with the next part of the lesson in the next period. Thank you.